What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Crafty Dog Mama. And today we're going to be going over how to do an acrylic pour. It's just a basic tutorial for people who are just beginning or want to see what it's all about and try it out themselves. So we're going to be reviewing what materials you need, what the different products are for, and how to actually do your pour. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, so for your acrylic pour, or dirty cup as a lot of people do call it, I'm gonna go through the materials that you'll need to get started. So first thing is, I always like to get one of these foil trays. It just helps keep all the mess in one place, or you can put a garbage bag over the area, plastic, that kind of thing. The next thing you'll need is a blank white canvas. And what I do so that the paint can run off once I am painting is I do put the push pins on the back to give it some height. So when you put it down, the paint will run off the sides and the bottom tray will catch it. When it's dry, you can easily just lift it up and your painting's ready to go. So the other things you'll need are acrylic paints. I'll show you the ones that I'm using today. So the white paint that I have here, I've already mixed in the consistency and I'll tell you what's in that as well. This white paint is the Artist Loft, which is this one here, the Artist Loft's Flow Acrylic, which I got at Michael's. And then this magenta color is the Basics brand by Liquitex, which I also got at Michael's. This is the magenta. And then the next color I chose for this pour is this yellow, which is another Basics color, just primary yellow. And we have, this color is probably one of my favorites. I love this color. It's just pretty. This one is by Artist Loft, and this one is the aqua green. And then the last color I chose for this pour is purple. Now this purple I added some black to it because I wanted it to be a little bit darker because all the other colors are very bright. The original purple color is Artist Loft's Violet. And what I did is I just added some black paint into it until it became the color that I wanted. So you can also play with your paints. Just because the paints come in a certain color doesn't mean you can't mix and make your own colors as well, depending on what you're doing your pour for, what color preference you have, whatever it is. Just make sure they're acrylic paints. So those are the 4 colors I chose for this pour. So you can choose as little or as many colors as you like. I've seen people do 32 colors. I've seen people do it with just 2 colors. So just try it out, see what you like. And the most important thing is just to have fun doing it. The more you do it, the more that you're gonna learn what you like, what you don't like, what you could do different from the last time that you did, what pouring mediums you like, which I'll get into now actually. But the most important thing when you're doing acrylic pours is just to have fun with it. Sometimes you think that you know how the painting will come out, but I will tell you from doing a ton of these that there's no way to ever really know how these things are going to work out. Okay, so that's the second thing that the other thing that you'll need is the acrylic paints. You'll also need a base white. So the base white that I'm using today is the Artist Loft's white paint, which I think I mentioned that already, but anyway, if I didn't, that's the white that I'm using. And this here is called Floetrol. Floetrol I actually got from a local paint store because a lot of people in the States get it from their Home Hardware or Home Depot, and our Home Depot and Home Hardware do not sell these in Canada. If you go on Amazon to order a bottle of this, they're like 40 bucks. But there is a paint store, I can't remember which one I got these ones at because I bought a bunch of them at one time. I'll include the name of the store in the description below, so if any of you do want to get the Floetrol, you'll be able to. There are other pouring mediums that you can use, but let me explain what the pouring medium is. So the pouring medium is basically to give your paint a flow or a leveling. So it's basically to even out your paint a little bit, almost like a paint thinner, but not quite. Okay, so when you're mixing your paint, and I'm going to do a demonstration on one. So I've already pre-mixed these ones, and I'm going to show you how to get started. So let me start with the white and explain why you need so much white. So I have a large cup of white because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a layer as my base before I pour my colors on. What that's going to do is allow my other colors to spread evenly over the canvas once I lift my cup up. And it's really important to have a lot of the white to work with. So I've already mixed the consistency. So when you're doing your pour, you want to put 1 part paint, you want to put 1 part pouring medium, and then you want to add some water to it to give it a consistency of almost like a creamer, like a coffee creamer. So you can see how nice and easily that flows off of the knife. You want that type of consistency when you're doing dirty pours. Again, even with the colors, the same thing. So I added the color that I wanted. I added my pouring medium, which is the Floetrol in this case. And then I added a little bit of water just to give it that creamer-like consistency. You're gonna want it at that consistency because otherwise your paint will not flow over the canvas. Let me show you how to mix a color. I might use a little bit of black, but I'm just gonna show you how to do this. So what you would do is you would take your color, put a little bit in. I don't need too much black in this painting, so I'm actually going to just do a little bit. So you're just gonna put the amount that you need in there. And then you're going to take your pouring medium and you're just gonna add about the same amount of paint to pouring medium that you've put in there. And then you're gonna wanna stir the pouring medium and the acrylic paint together until it becomes all mixed up evenly. So we're just gonna give it a nice, good mix. And then you're gonna add just a little bit of water to give it that coffee creamer kind of texture. And once it's done, you should have something like this. So now that black is ready to go. I might use it, I might not, we'll see. Okay, that's how you mix your paint. The next thing that you have to do, so if you want to be able to have your paint create cells or bubbles, what you need to do is you need to add a silicone. So there's different types of silicones that you can get, and I'll include a couple links in the description in case anybody's interested in getting a silicone online. You can get them in your local, for example, we have Canadian Tire here. I know Home Hardware would sell some of them as well, but a lot of hair serums that you have just in your house include silicone in it. So this one that I got from my son's barbershop actually includes silicone. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the top off. And with silicone in acrylic paints, you only need just a couple drops. So I'm gonna take my first color. The only color you're not gonna put silicone in is the white. So no silicone goes in the white, and I'll show you the purpose for that when we're doing the pour. So the silicone only goes into the color. So I'm gonna just put 1, to, I might put a little bit more. There, you don't need very much. So we're gonna drop silicone into all of our 4 colors. Actually, I'm not gonna use that color. Okay, so we did the purple. We're gonna add a couple drops to the yellow. And the silicone is what's gonna help create the bubbles. I have never used this silicone before, so I don't know how this painting is gonna turn out. This is my first time using this silicone, just because I did an art show in the summer and I used up all my silicone when I did like 50 paintings. So I have no more of my original one, but we're gonna experiment together and see how this KMS Moist Repair works. So anyway, you do need a silicone to add to your paints to be able to give it the cell effect. Okay, so when you add your silicone into your paints, you just need to give it just a light stir. You really don't need to mix it in. So I'm just gonna stir it just a little tiny bit. Not a lot, just very gently. And once they're done, we can move on to the fun part. Okay, so now that our colors are mixed and ready to go, what you're gonna do is you're going to take a cup, any kind of plastic cup will work. If you want to cover the whole canvas, you would use a larger cup. If you want to make sort of a design, and actually I think that's the type of one that I'm gonna show to you today, we're not gonna use the larger cup. I'm actually going to use a small cup, and I'll show you why. I really love doing this design, and I feel like with these colors, maybe I can keep this pour afterwards. So we're gonna use a little cup, and we're gonna do a little, we're gonna do a swipe today, so to speak. So the first thing you're gonna do, actually, I think I'm gonna do 2 cups. So we're gonna add 2 cups. And the first color that I'm gonna add in the base is gonna be my white. So I'm just gonna cover the bottom just a little bit with white because I wanna save most of my white for my pour. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and add our colors in. So I'm just gonna move these over here so I have easy access to them. And then we'll pour the colors in together. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead with the turquoise first. And then I wanna add some yellow. And then we'll go with some magenta. I'm gonna move them closer together. So I pour over my canvas just because I've been doing this for a long time, but if you don't wanna get paint on your canvas, just remove your canvas first. And we're gonna add a little bit of purple. I'm actually not gonna put, this might be the only purple I add in this one because I don't want the dark colors to overpower the bright colors. right, guys, so now we can get started with the fun part. So this step is where you just pour the white over your canvas, and you're gonna wanna get it evenly spread. So this is why it's good to have something under so it can catch the paint and not make a mess everywhere. So I have a lot of white, so I'm not gonna be conservative with using it. I'm just using the plastic knife that I was using to stir it, just to spread it out. And I do want it to cover my sides as well, so that when the colors do run over the canvas, it's gonna flow nicely over the canvas sides. So let's just get all that spread out. This process also helps to get rid of any bubbles that you might have. I'm just gonna pour a bunch there. There we go. Oh, Barkley's in my way down here, so I can't move from side to side. Okay, now we're gonna make sure we get all this here covered. You do see there's a chunk in there that I don't want. Okay, and I'm just gonna quickly go over the sides, make sure I've got all of this covered here. So I don't know if any of you, when you were kids, watched that show called The Magic School Bus. Miss Frizzle, the teacher, famous teacher, always used to say, what did she used to say? She used to say, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. And that's exactly what this process of learning how to do acrylic pour is really all about. So thank you, Miss Frizzle, for those inspiring words. Okay, so the fun part is now, all I'm gonna do is take one of the cups that I have, and I do have 2 cups, so maybe we'll use both. Easy way to do it, if you take your cup and like a spatula, and you cover it and turn it over, and then sort of brush it onto your painting, it keeps the paint in without letting it spill. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Just turn it over and then slide it off. I'm gonna let the paint sit there for just a minute because I want my colors to start running down from the bottom of the cup onto the canvas. And what you're gonna see is you're gonna see it slowly start to pour out the sides a little bit. When we lift it up, the paint will sort of explode everywhere. You'll see. Let's give it a couple minutes and we'll be right back. Okay guys, so I've let it sit for about a minute or so, and all I'm gonna do, I want to keep this one on, but I'm gonna kind of move this one around a little bit. Okay, so that's one. And then I have my second one. So I do want to get my second one in like a swirly motion. So I'm just gonna lift up the cup a little bit and then release it. That's it. Ooh. What I like to do, oh, you can see these cells are really pretty that are popping up already. Wait until we torch it. Okay, what I like to do is after I lift my cup, I don't like to torch it right away. I like to let the cells sort of pop up on their own as much as they can before I torch it. So let's just wait a couple seconds and I'm gonna go over the torch. So this is a torch I actually got off Amazon. What it does is when you add heat to the top, it's gonna help create more of these bubbles and more in detail. So by torching it, you're essentially getting rid of any air bubbles and allowing the colors to come through. I'm gonna actually explain before we start torching it while these bubbles, these cells are still popping up. The reason we don't put any silicone in the white is because you can see the white is sort of like the base that keeps everything together. The colors with the silicone in it is what's gonna create that popping effect. If we had added silicone into the white as well, we wouldn't get this pretty the cell effect. So I'm sure that you still would, but you need something that is without silicone to be able to get this type of effect. So I think most of the these are really pretty. Like I like that cell right there probably the most. I should have just done those couple colors. Okay, I'm gonna take the torch and we're gonna turn it on. And all I'm gonna do is push my button. Oh, it's on low. Let's put it a little higher. So I'm gonna do it a little far away because I don't want to burn the paint. I just want those cells to pop. So you can see, sometimes I do it like this so you can get the little cells. And you don't want to cook the paint either. You just want to allow the bubbles to pop up. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, this is the kind of your fun part, is you're going to lift it up. And here's where your colors will start coming alive. That is super pretty. And I find the less that you move it around, the more that your cells will stay in place. So after you've moved it, what you're gonna wanna do, I forgot to get a napkin, but what you're gonna wanna do is you're just gonna wanna lightly torch it again. So, and you're gonna see some of those other cells, now that we've stretched it out, are gonna start popping out. And that's it. Once it's dry, I will take a picture because sometimes it changes a little bit. The cells do start popping up a little bit more once you leave it to dry. And some of the colors become a little bit more vibrant, that kind of thing. But anyway, that's sort of how you do a pour. This is one way that you can do a pour, and I want to show you another cool way. All right, guys, I just want to show you one more way to do the pour. So I'm just going to put my white base just to quickly show you. I really love doing pours this way because this is called a negative space pour, what I'm about to do. So you're going to cover your canvas the same way. Make sure that the white, I'm just going to lift this up. I didn't put tacks on the bottom of this because I don't know why, but anyway. Just gonna cover the canvas in white. Make sure it's all evenly spread. This one I don't care too much if the edges are covered or not, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'm gonna put it back down. When you're doing yours, if you want to keep it or if you want to sell it, make sure you put the pins on the back. So I'm just doing this as a demonstration, so it's going to have a couple funky colors on the back, but I'm okay with that. There's another way that you can do this as well, and I really like doing my pours this way. If you flip your cup sort of towards the edge and then drag it to the other end, you're going to get a really nice effect. So I'm going to start here. I'm okay with the paint running off there. And then I'm just gonna do this. And you can do it any way that you want, but. And then after you're done, you get this really nice effect. So I'm not gonna tilt it too much. I'm just gonna tilt it a little bit, just to get it covered. And I'm gonna leave it like that. And then I'm gonna torch it, and it's gonna come out really pretty. Okay. And you can see all these little tiny cells popping up, which I personally adore. I want a little more here. See, I want all that white to pop out from these dark colors, so I'm torching it a little bit more than most people would, but that's because I want a certain effect. Okay, I'm gonna leave my painting just like that, and when it's dry, I'm gonna take a screenshot and add it to the video. So that's how you can do a couple different ways of the acrylic pour. Just feel free to try different things. Try different silicones, try different paints, try different pouring mediums. They all give you a different effect with your painting. I just really hope you guys have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I really hope to do some more acrylic paints in the future again, because I love working with acrylics. They're just so pretty and really satisfying to do pours. So again, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!